Welcome back to Structural Concepts in Arithmetic. In this video we want to talk a little bit about something called place value processes. In a previous video we talked about the advantages of the decimal number system that we use, and the advantages stem from the fact that this is a place value system. So the key ideas for this video are right here. So I need you to understand the 3 steps involved in dealing with decimal numbers. And we should also be able to use the chip model. It's a valuable representation of decimal numbers that can be pretty easily used to introduce the concepts of addition and some other things as well. So let me get myself out of the way and we'll go ahead and look a little bit more at that. Okay, so the stages of forming a decimal number are composing the various groups. Okay, you got to group the ones, the tens, the hundreds, etc. You do need to recompose some of the time in order to ensure that you have no more than 9 of each kind. Okay, so you can't have 2 tens and then 13 ones. You should recompose 10 of those ones and trade it in for another group of 10. And the last stage is to record the number of each type in the correct position. So I wanted to look a little bit at some tasks that your students might be doing and talk about which of the skills is used in that task of the 3 that we just talked about. So of these 3 skills right up here, which one is used in each of these tasks? So let's say a student is asked, find what comes after 49. Okay, well, the answer, of course, is not 4010. Okay, what the student has to realize is that they should recompose those 10 ones into another group of 10 and then record that in the tens position. So this needs skill 2. If a student is counting by tens, which is something even very young children can do, they're actually just using skill 1, okay? They're composing the various groups. And here's something that sounds like it's a much harder problem. Let's say we asked a student, what is 30 more than 251? Okay, and of course we know the answer is 281, but let's think about the skill being used here. The student has to realize that's 3 tens, and then he has to add that to this middle number. Okay, so we would have 8 tens, so it would be 281. So this is using skill 3. It's not really an addition problem that the student is solving here. It's more of a place value problem. Okay, and you might actually notice that parents and even some teachers have difficulty realizing the nuances of the place value system because they're so familiar with it they take it for granted. But these are things that students in the K to 3 curriculum are going to need to learn. Okay, they haven't digested it yet, so it's going to be your job to help them along that journey. And hopefully understanding the various stages involved will get you to do that better. Nope, that's not where I want to be. Okay, I want to talk briefly about the chip model. Okay, the chip model is a very convenient way for visualizing numbers. We just imagine, you could actually do this with physical chips as well, but I'll usually just be drawing them here. Okay, so we have 2 chips in the hundreds slot, 4 chips in the tens slot, 3 chips in the 1 slot, so that's 243. Okay, the important thing to start to realize is that we need to use 0 as a placeholder. Okay, that's the kind of key thing of a positional system. You have to have a way of indicating that you don't have any of one group. So this 3 needs to be followed by a 0, indicating that we don't have any 10s, and then 5 to indicate the number 305. Okay, and you could very easily do some simple additions using the chip model. Okay, so let's say we had to do something like this. 314 plus 251. Okay, just something like that. Okay, well, all we really do is load each of those numbers into the appropriate place in the chip model. Okay, so we have our little trays here for the hundreds and the tens and the ones. So we have 314. That's 314 right up there. 251, 2 hundreds, 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally 1 here. Okay, so we can see what we've got. We've got 565. Okay, and the reason I said this was a simple addition is that there was no regrouping. We didn't have to trade in anything for something in another group. Okay, so this makes it very easy to understand what's going on here. And notice you don't actually have to do this in any order. You don't have to start from the right. I kind of started from the left. I was counting up the hundreds first. Okay, so there's no set way you have to do this to get the right answer. So those are the basics of the chip model for addition.